Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased and honored to speak to you today, particularly because you are teachers. As much time as we students spend with our families, we spend an equal portion of our waking hours with teachers like you in school. We listen to you, we learn from you, sometimes we annoy you, but most importantly, every once in a while, something you say changes how we view the world. To you, it might just be another passing comment, but at the right moment, it can be a comment that changes the student forever. I speak to you as a student. You should never underestimate the influence you have on us. Teachers make a big difference. And today, I would like to discuss what it means to be a global citizen and how you as teachers can help those you teach to embrace the intrinsic value of humanitarian work. I'm sure that every one of your international schools, has a mission statement that somehow focuses on supporting students to lead purposeful lives and become active global citizens. Like all of yours, my school, Saigon South International School, also has a set of core values that have helped me to solidify how I can fulfill my desire to make a difference in the world. And let me discuss for a moment what it means to be a global citizen and what are the things that motivate students, myself included, to care about and work towards improving world issues. And I'll bet all of your schools have programs that mirror our dedicated service core value, the programs that encourage students to work with and for the local communities. And as I said before, you should never underestimate the influence you as teachers have on students. Through lessons you teach in these school values, we come to appreciate and understand the communities we live in. And in addition to the influence of my teachers, I personally have been very lucky to have a special moment, even before entering high school, that changed my perception of the world. And let me take a moment to tell you of one of my first experiences working with a humanitarian organization, Medical Mission Fellowship. This event truly changed how I saw my position within the world. At the age of 10, my father decided it would be good for me to see a life from different viewpoints. And he's a surgeon who volunteers regularly in areas that don't have easily accessible medical care. In this first experience, the memory that still sticks in my mind is of a young woman who is not much older than I am now. As a young boy, I was assigned the job of assisting at the gate to control the entry. Of the 1,000 or so people who were desperate to get care, the individual I remember most vividly was this young woman holding a baby in one arm and another daughter in her hand and an infant strapped to her back. And somehow she managed to work her way through the crowd, and she made her way through me. And as I caught up with her to tell her she would have to wait for her turn, I saw the desperate condition of the baby. A huge tumor was erupted on her arm, and the baby was coughing and crying. Clearly, the baby was in extreme distress. The medical team immediately conducted operation which took them 8 hours of work to try to save the baby's life. Unfortunately, without success. This was my first experience in realizing that people could live a life where circumstances beyond their control dictated who would live and who would die. As I realized the baby died, I melted down. And my mind could not help but think, what if I had been born into that situation where family could not provide me any medical care? Or what if I was born into a family that simply could not provide any adequate amount of food? And why was I so fortunate and the others so unfortunate? Witnessing the mother's anguish, I realized she loves her baby as much as my parents love me. And as you can imagine, it was a very powerful experience. But as a 5th grader though, I watched this tragedy unfold without any idea of how I could have changed the outcome. Now, 8 years later, I attended high school with teachers who provide opportunity and encouragement to students to see the realities like this of the world around them and find ways to change them for the better. And interestingly, service is a two-way street. Students and teachers from Saigon South have worked together to accomplish a lot this year. We built a home for Habitat for Humanity. We opened a functioning kitchen at a local Vietnamese orphanage. We organized Christmas celebrations for the Vietnamese children. We gave 230 backpacks full of school supplies as presents to a local elementary school. We also helped Operation Smile to operate on at least 10 cleft palate surgeries, and we raised enough money to provide 2 breath of life machines to help infants breathe who would otherwise die. And we provided 20 bicycles for Saigon Children's Charity to ensure that all students can attend school. All this was done through the encouragement of the teachers that helped organize and promote these valuable humanitarian activities. And it is important to remember, when we do these things, we not only give, we benefit. Every moment we help others, we build our own character and become more aware of the strength within ourselves. As a young adult, it is wonderful to complete a task and understand that we have powers and influence that we never realized before. During the Week Without Walls trip, Saigon South students went to various places to engage in humanitarian or environmental work. Some went to clean up the oil spill in Korea. Some went to Chiang Mai to learn about elephant endangerment. Some went to Model United Nations meeting in Beijing. And some attended Global Issues Conference in Germany. And some went to build a home for Habitat for Humanity. I have just came back from Habitat for Humanity, and as I laid bricks and carried cement alongside 20 fellows and three teachers, I realized how our hands can build a comfortable shelter for less fortunate. In addition to building a home as a group, we all came back stronger and more aware of our own abilities. And we were proud of our accomplishments and ability to make a positive impact on someone else's life. You as teachers need to know that your influence goes beyond school. When your students begin to go out on their own and know they have the power to change the world, you must understand that you were a positive factor in helping them become who they are. And think of the power. In a school of 500, you as a teacher reach only 10 students and help them realize they can make a difference. And if those 10 students then grow to do the same, and each of them influences 10, this is 100 people working for the change. The pattern continues with 100, and then 1,000 reaching out until everyone is affected. For me, this commitment has gone beyond my school. Several times, I have accompanied my father to work with victims of Agent Orange. The legacy of Agent Orange continues today. Originally used to destroy vegetation during the Vietnam War, it has continued to seep into water and have long-term effects on Vietnamese people who rely upon well waters in their area. And looking at these pictures, one cannot help but ask, what have they done to deserve this? What is the difference between them and me, or you? My realization is that it is circumstance that makes the difference. Sometimes the luck of birth, sometimes the luck of meeting the right people. And I can speak for your students and tell you that you are the right people. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to finish my speech with one another story. It is a story of a son and his father. One day, a son came to see his father. The son's face was full of grief, anger, and frustration. He spoke to his father, "Dad, I am very, very frustrated. Nothing is working for me, and I'm at the edge of giving up." The father looked at the son and said, "Come in, son, let me show you something." The father took out 3 pots and he filled them with water. He put them on the stove and he lit the fire. And they waited a few minutes. And soon water was boiling. Then he took out a carrot and he put them in the first pot. He took out an egg and he put them in the second pot. And lastly, he took a ground coffee and put them in the third pot. And they waited a few minutes. And after a few minutes, the father asked the son, "Tell me the difference you see." The son spoke to his father frustrated. "Dad, it's just a carrot, an egg, and some coffee ground." The father said, "No, look closer. The hard carrot has become softer because of hot water. And the soft egg has become harder because of water. But the water is still water. Only the ground coffee has changed the color of the water. Now tell me, son, would you rather be a man like a carrot or an egg? Would you rather be a man like a ground coffee who brings change?" Ladies and gentlemen, Mahatma Gandhi once said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." And I'm standing before you today, speaking about what you teachers do in your classrooms and schools. And I have witnessed the powerful influence that each of you can have in your school through the actions of my teachers. You are the ones that help to make students become active global citizens and true global citizens by making humanitarian contributions into our work. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the power to motivate and encourage young people to change this world. I thank you for your teaching and applaud you for all the great work you do.